So you want to do it again? So we turn it off. That's all right. We'll start again. Take two. Welcome to the Development Assessment Committee meeting, Wednesday, 16 July 2025. Just so that everyone is aware, these meetings are recorded for both the Moorabool News and the Star Weekly, and indeed for our minutes as well. So we have everybody present. We have no apologies. So could I get someone to confirm the minutes from the last meeting, please? Thank you, Councillor Berry. Thank you, Councillor Manari. Seconded. Those in favour. So carried. Right. At this point, I'll ask if there's any matters arising from the previous minutes. No. At this point, I'll ask for disclosures of conflict of interest. Councillor Sullivan.
Mr Mayor, I would like to note a conflict of interest in item 9.2 on tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. You could just tap me on the shoulder when you're ready and that'll be fine. No presentations or deputations tonight, so we'll move straight into business and we'll move to 9.1, which we have two speakers. Kimberly Blundell, are you here? Yes. If you'd like to come up, push the green button on the microphone. Are you together?
Well, yes. Objecting the same.
Yeah. Do you want to sit at the same table? And,
let's just have a seat.
yeah, we're all friends here. So, okay, you get 3 minutes each. If you push the green button and the light's flashing, we're racing and we're away. So, please, the floor is yours.
Green is good.
Green is good.
Green is good. Just wanting to speak to you all, obviously in relation to this. We've obviously objected to this, and we are quite pleased to see that you guys have taken in the considerations that we've objected to, in for that you guys are planning on refusing this development with the impact it's going to take on the current infrastructure and neighbourhood. So we're really grateful to that. We understand that it's very likely this land will be developed in the future, and we want to make it clear that we're not against it being developed. We're against the plans that have been proposed, the scale that it has been proposed and the impact it will take on us. We're very realistic that it will get developed at some point. And we're just hoping in the future that you guys continue to take into consideration the existing infrastructure and neighbourhood, including the waterways, sewerage and our existing, even our retaining walls. We're quite scared that they could collapse due to all the extra weight from these properties that are proposed.
Yeah.
Anne, you're taking the floor.
Yes, sorry, I'm not quite sure how to phrase it as beautifully as that. I was quite concerned about the egress and ingress from the road, because at the moment there's just a gravel track. My side fence is beside the gravel track that goes up, that becomes the roadway, and the idea of a lot of cars going up and down that gravel track is quite daunting. For one thing, my dog is going to wind up on your complaints list if there's that much traffic going up there. So that was one of my major concerns, that the access is very...
It's not suitable for
it's not,
the
not really
scale.
suitable for the number of cars. If you've got 15 dwellings and you've got three to four people per dwelling, I know from personal experience, your children grow up and then they have cars, and then you have 4 cars per dwelling, and suddenly there's more cars going around the area. So I was a bit concerned about the density as well. Sorry, I didn't phrase that very well.
Thanks, Anne. Councillor Bingham, you had a question.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just a quick one. Are you, both of you, are you on the eastern side boundary, or...?
My generation doesn't know east and west.
Down the hill or up the hill?
We're down the hill.
Okay. So both down the hill?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
no
we
worries,
live in
thank you.
O'Hagan Place.
Yep.
Yes, so our back fences are the first two when you're standing on the road looking down the driveway of the house. Sorry.
Or about a metre and a half below that property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Councillor Ward.
My first question, Mr Mayor, is directed, I suppose, at officers, if I may.
Yes.
I noticed there was 10 objections, and a consultation meeting was offered between the applicant and the objectors. However, the applicant declined the offer. Would it be inappropriate or appropriate for me to ask why? Because I think consultation is healthy.
Mr Lavelle.
Yeah, so through the chair, given the number of objections, we did want to have a consultation meeting, but the applicant was quite firm that they did not want to mediate with the objectors, and they were very firm on their position with their plans.
Okay.
Councillor Wood.
Further to that then, I notice in your report, Mark, that there had been numerous discussions with the applicant over the last 2 years during the drafting of this, and that the plans had been amended. Can you explain, I suppose, in simple detail, some of the amendments that had been made to address concerns raised?
So the changes made to the plans did not address the concerns of the objectors. So there were cosmetic changes. So they did some alterations to the plans. They showed more detail with regards to tree removal. But the primary concerns in the very early stages of the applications was the number of dwellings and also the lack of dwelling typology, with this being 3 and 4 bedroom dwellings.
Yeah. Yeah, no further questions then. Thank you.
Councillor Wood. Any other questions? Councillor Minari.
Sorry, my question is to officers, if that's
Yes.
okay. The objectors raised something that I can't remember whether we've discussed, the topography of the land on the east side dropping down quite considerably, and the mention of retaining walls. Was that a concern, or how did planners look at that as a challenge or an issue?
Mr Lavelle.
So, through the chair, as far as topography is concerned, you can actually address it through retaining walls. So retaining walls would have to be within the subject land, so they could not, for example, I think the mention before about affecting surrounding retaining walls. They'd have to secure the site to make sure it is sound, and of course they would not cause soil disturbance onto neighbouring properties.
Subsequent.
Just one more. So what does it look like right now?
So the subject land now has no retaining walls. It's a unoccupied dwelling on the land, and the existing vegetation is on site.
Thank you.
Councillor Berry.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. My question is to officers. Being a lover of trees, what type of trees were going to be removed from there?
There were a number of established existing gum trees, so they're along the boundaries of the properties, but the proposal was to remove vegetation from the site.
Thank you. That's all, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Bingham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Question of officers. Clearly, one of the concerns is overdevelopment of the site. From a council perspective, what sort of numbers in terms of dwellings would alleviate that concern? At 5.
So through the chair, it's not a number of dwellings. The designer could have come back with an alternative design response saying, I may remove a certain number of dwellings, I'll provide larger open spaces, and demonstrating the revised design has larger open spaces, better access, and also maybe reducing off-site impact. So if you reduce the number, you may be able to increase setbacks, therefore minimising overshadowing and overlooking impacts.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Any other questions? Sorry, you can't ask him. How's that?
Sorry, can I put my... Yeah, I can go.
No, sorry.
No, you're fine. Sorry, just in relation to what would be accepted with the number of dwellings and things.
Obviously, people don't say no to you.
No, I'm a nurse. Can you tell? I'm just...
All right, just say it.
So just with the house dwellings, some of them were not even standing on their own. They were still joined. And one of my big concerns was the overshadowing with the way the sun circulates around our property. Because it was going to be pretty much just a cement wall looking up against my property, I would have had 4 backing onto my property alone, with 2 of them being joined together. So my concerns of the back of my house even receiving much sunlight, especially during the winter months, was quite a big concern with the wet areas being on the back side of my house. So then I was quite concerned about black mould as well, because that was going to be my laundry and bathroom, and the amount of sunlight they would have reached, as well as just the vegetation in my backyard. So just even if they could have been single standing, that would have been appreciated too.
Okay, councillors, any other questions? You're excused. Thank you. You have a recommendation to papers, councillors, moved by Councillor Ward, is it?
Yeah, I'd like to move it with a comment. I suppose just for the benefit of those in the gallery, my comment is council is under significant pressure to promote and support, where possible, high-density housing and provide 20,000 new homes in Moorabool by 2051. However, I'm quite pleased to see the report recommended a refusal based on respecting the existing neighbourhood character and a whole lot of other criteria. So I commend the officers on it, and I'd like to move the recommendation, Mr Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, and it was seconded by councillor Bingham. Is any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Thank you. Right, I will... sorry, councillor Sullivan.
No, I'm just waiting to move on.
Yes.
That's also, I'm just ahead of the play a bit here. But
All right, councillor Sullivan, we're moving on to item 9.2.
thank you, Mr Mayor. I just wish to, as earlier on, note a conflict of interest in this item, so I will vacate.
Thank you, councillor Sullivan. So 9.2, I'll talk about what the item is while you're walking out. So 9.2 is a development and use of a dwelling, a variation of a restricted retrospective earthworks at 281 Camerons Road, Camida. And we have three speakers to this item. If I could please ask Catherine Pope, please, if you could come up and push the button. I'll just remind everyone you are live to air, so just be aware of that when you speak. I probably should have told you guys too, shouldn't I? But yes. If you just push the button in front of the microphone, then we know you're live and you've got 3 minutes. So.
Good evening, Chair and committee members. My name is Catherine Pope and I have lived with my family at 283 Camerons Road for 27 years. I wish to formally object to the planning application on the grounds that the section 173 of the agreement has not been complied with. Non-compliance of this section 173, I'm referred to table 53.02. The carriageway easement is identified as essential access for the new subdivision at 281 Camerons Road and the existing lots of 283, 285 and 287. The agreement explicitly states that this carriageway easement access must meet bushfire requirements, including upgrades for vehicle access and passing bays to ensure it remains a viable emergency route. Under the endorsed bushfire management plan, the carriageway was deemed suitable for heavy vehicles including CFA, DWELP and other emergency services. This is no longer the case. Since the agreement signing 10th of the 8th 21, the carriageway has been deliberately damaged by the owner Sharon Ticehurst, her husband and tenants.
With respect,
Point of order, Mr Mayor.
can't make allegations against other
Okay, I'll just give specific examples of damage that has occurred as to who's
If you
done
could
it.
confine it to the damage.
There's concrete drains smashed or filled in. Drainage channels have been cut across the carriageway to slow traffic. Speed humps have been dug. Spikes have been driven into the carriageway. Police vehicles punctured on the 8th of 24. Boulders dumped completely across and blocking the carriageway, removed on the 27th of the 10th 24 under police direction. Ongoing dumping of rubbish and debris starting from the 22nd of the 7th 22 and admitted to by the tenant of Sharon's, Sam Keynes. The gate closure first started on the 18th of the 4th in 23, impeding lawful, unfettered access despite the hazardous nature of the carriageway. On the
You can point of order,
Point
if
of
you like,
order.
councillor. What you can't do is just sit there with the light on.
Oh.
I need to know what you want to do.
No, sorry, I left it on from before. Excuse
Right.
me.
Councillor.
I'm just saying point of order because I'm not sure this is relevant to what we've got in front of us.
It's all to do with the carriageway is going to have continuous use. So at this point, provided we don't go off track, I'll stick with this. It's all part of the process. So everyone gets to say. Thank you.
Mr Mayor, if there was a point of order, I'd just say leave names out of...
Well, that's what I asked for in the beginning, councillor. So
Okay.
yes, continue, please.
Necessary maintenance was halted and civil works was prevented by the owner, ignoring the legal status of the carriageway as a shared access. Prior to this, the beneficiaries of the carriageway lawfully maintained the carriageway without issue or cost to the owner. Failure to meet planning obligations, which is the bushfire management plan, concludes vehicle access design and construction requirements will be applied to the existing carriageway easement to meet any mandated requirements. This has not occurred. The carriageway remains in poor condition and is unsafe. The gate at Camerons Road is immediately closed by the owner or her family, and we have 24-hour, 7 days a week surveillance. And we have heard her state that she intends to padlock the gate and limit access solely to the property owners.
With respect, could we
Pardon?
just contain it to the actual issue? I mean, a lot of this will be hearsay. I understand that the other speakers to this item will have a right of reply, and I'm going to try and avoid it, personalising it, and we're going to keep it to the actual issue if we could, please.
This restricts our lawful access, the gate closure, and creates serious risks, particularly in bushfire evacuation. Additionally, there have been assaults, etc. I won't go into that. Under the human rights...
I'm really trying here,
Yep. Under the human rights impact, your report claims that there are no human right implications in this matter. I respectfully disagree to this. Under the easement established by the Moorabool Shire on the 8th of the 10th, 1985, we are entitled to full and free right for them, their agents, workmen and visitors to go, pass and repass at all times over and along the easement. These rights are now being unlawfully restricted through deliberate obstruction, disrepair and gate closure.
I'm asking for a point of order from a councillor here. I need someone to point of order. I haven't. Ms Pope, I have requested on several occasions to depersonalise this. And let's stick to the actual issue.
Okay. Your senior planning officer has confirmed that this gate should not exist on the carriageway easement. In my conclusion, approval of this subdivision without compliance with the Section 173 agreement and the bushfire management plan would further endanger the residents and effectively condone ongoing unlawful conduct. Without resolving these ongoing hazardous traffic issues, you will further compromise the safety of the existing residents, especially in a bushfire emergency. And this must take precedent. So I thank you for the time and consideration.
Councillors, questions, please. Councillor Bingham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. My question is to the council officers, and this is in two parts. One, is there any other example anywhere within the municipality that a carriageway does have a gate? And my second part is, I understand that the gate was introduced some decades ago in the original 173 agreement, but is there a legal avenue? What's the legality of removing said gate from a carriageway?
I'll ask the manager.
Through the chair. So matters related to carriageway easements. So I'm not aware of any other carriageway easements in the Shire. There may be, but I'm not personally aware of any. Matters related to a carriageway easement on private land are matters for the landowner and the beneficiaries of that easement. It's not a public road. Council doesn't have any jurisdiction to carry out any work or make changes to that. In terms of other permits that have been issued in the past, I'd have to take that on notice and we'd have to look at that. But
just subsequent, sorry, Mr Mayor. So where I was really getting at with that, what's the legalities of introducing an additional item requiring the applicant to remove the gate? Is that something that council can legally do, or?
So through the chair, the simple answer is no. Tonight, the matter before the council is the development of the site for a dwelling. Matters related to the easement are not part of that consideration.
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Ward.
I've got a follow-up question to Councillor Bingham's questions, if I may, Mr Mayor. In the officer's response on page 27, it does state the carriageway easement services both lots 1 and 2 on 281 Camerons Road. So on that, we agree. So the implication that I take out of that is that the carriageway easement is available to lots 1 and 2 without impediment.
Yes. Mr Lillard, or do you want to go? Where are we going with this, please?
Okay, to explain the carriageway in its totality, So it is what's called an appurtenant easement on adjacent titles. The original title that actually owns the land is 319 Camerons Road, and a series of properties have access to it, which include 245, 281, and of course the subject land where we are at the moment.
Any other questions, councillor? No, thank you. Any other questions, councillors? I've got a couple. When the original 173 agreement was drawn up on the subdivision, was a gate included in that 173 agreement?
So through the chair, the 173 agreement is to do with a bushfire management plan, which shows where access is to be achieved to the dwelling. It just shows the location of the access from the road to the subject house.
So there's no mention of a gate?
There's no mention of gates.
Thank you. My second question then is that in terms of access, the owners of the property would have a right to the carriageway on their title, but they would also have to allow a right of carriageway to the other people that use it. Do the people that have the carriageway on their title, do they use the carriageway to access their property?
So through the chair, there are, so the rear property, which is the objector's property, they have, which is 283 Camerons Road, they have, they use it for access. 245 can use it for access, so they can actually use it to access Cameron Road, but they also have a secondary access to Camerons Road. And there's also the property in the northwest corner, which is 285, that it can also have access.
Thank you. Well, one more question. Emergency service access under the current legislation, it was mentioned that this gate was to be locked. Under the legislation is a gate that is being put in on a 173 agreement for emergency services permitted to be locked.
So as far as the bushfire management plan, it doesn't talk about gates on access ways, so there'll be any access way to a subject dwelling.
Which would probably explain why it's not on the 173 agreement to have a gate, I would say. Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? No? Thank you, Ms. Pope.
Thank you.
Right, if I could call on now, please, Sharon Ticehurst, please. Yes.
I'd like to ask if my daughter can come and sit.
Yes,
We're both
absolutely.
speaking, so
Yeah,
we can
absolutely.
sit together. Thank you.
Yes. And as with the last speaker, we'll try and depersonalise it. You might get pulled up.
Yeah, I'd
But you
like
do
to
have a right. You do have a right of reply. So.
I have a right of reply.
Yes.
But I would like
but
to
I will pull it up if
depersonalise
it gets. I will pull it up if it becomes unreasonable. All right. But yes,
yes.
you do. Okay. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, councillors. I'm here today because my neighbour has lodged a complaint regarding my daughter's construction of a dwelling on her property. Let me clarify, this permit is an application and has been in the works for 10 months and submitted to council in September 24. Do you find anything acceptable about this lengthy process? The objections brought forward by my neighbour are filled with false allegations about my family.
This is going to end really
that
badly.
I refuse.
You're going to refuse. You know what I'll
dignify
refuse?
response.
I'll tell you what. When you want to run the meeting, that's fine, but you don't.
She kept speaking.
Yeah, I'm allowing you to do, but you went straight in. Now I'm asking.
No. I'm addressing what she said.
Do you want to argue with the chair? Are you seriously want to argue with the chair? Now, all I want to do is say your points, and then I'll ask the council to bring in a point of order if there's an issue. Okay. But please, if you could just stick to the subject, but otherwise I'll shut it down.
I am sticking to the subject because I'm replying to what she said. She got to degrade me.
I don't think it was degraded, but we'll.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm very passionate about this.
Point of order, please.
Yeah, can I suggest we suspend standing orders for 5 minutes just to...
Take the tension there, yes.
Yep.
Councillor, could I have someone second that, please? Yeah. Those in favour? So carried. If I could ask everyone to leave the room for a few minutes, take the tension out of it. I'm going to start the clock again. I think
Okay.
that's only fair.
Thank you.
We've had a bit of a chat.
My apologies
No,
to the
we're
chair.
fine. We're going to be fine.
Okay.
While we're going to just work through this, we're
Yep.
going to depersonalise it. Sorry. So, I've got to remember to turn the light on. We're going to probably just depersonalise it, just get back to the actual thing in front of us.
Okay.
And I'll just remind councillors that tonight we can only make a decision based on what's in front of us. So whilst there is a side issue being introduced, I just advise councillors to go back to the actual issue what the Development Assessment Committee has to look at, because that's what you'll be making a decision on tonight. I know some of this stuff has been aired, and it was at the last meeting as well. So what we'll do is we'll just try and get through this, and then we'll get to the voting process and the questions. So, Sharon, the
Okay.
clock's back where it should be, and
Okay.
the floor is yours.
This proposal is a development and use of a dwelling and a retrospective earthworks permit. We have advertised our application twice. The permit has nothing to do with the carriageway. The objector has raised these issues regarding the carriageway easement on my property, which is not on the title of 281. The owner of 281 has no more authority regarding the carriageway than the objector, merely to go to and from their property. The objector claims we are in violation of Section 173 agreement. I'm unsure of the width they desire for the carriageway, which is currently at a minimum of 8 metres plus. The objector complained about the increased traffic making the road hazardous is hypocritical, as they want to increase traffic for their own purposes by blocking my daughter's project. The concrete drains in question were filled in because the objector redirected the water across 281's crossover, destroying the crossover, which the landowner had to repair again. Let's address the real issue. We are not here to do my incompetent application. My application was thorough, and I made a preemptive amendment for additional metre on the building envelope. We're here because the objector continually trying to shift the focus away from her hazardous waste. We've submitted a permit for earthworks where the site cut was 300 metres at one end and 1,200 mil at the other. And we exceeded the cut
Excuse me, Sharon. Yes, councillor, point of order.
Yeah, relevance?
Yeah, relevance.
Let's get back to
the...
I would like to ask council to strike out item 15 as it clearly redundant and sets out the landowner up to fail. Given the situation is beyond their control, it has been suggested that the council is responsible for the carriageway. That claim comes solely from the objector. All my daughter wants to do is build her forever home. These obstacles are making her life extremely difficult, as all the outside noise does not involve her directly, but is affecting her immensely. I urge councillors to disregard the outside distractions and evaluate the permit for what it truly is, a complete and thorough application for a young adult looking to start her life. There is no smoke and mirrors here. It is simply a straightforward request. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Sharon. Councillor Berry first and then Councillor Bingham.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I've got a question for officers. Number 15 that the speaker just spoke about. Can officers please clarify condition 15?
Through the chair, yeah, condition 15 should be a note on permit ideally, rather than a condition. So it's seeking to restrict where the bins or impose some controls over how bins are collected. The bin collection is something that's governed by another department in council, and it's not up to a planning permit to dictate that. And the access to through the easement is a matter for the private landowners and beneficiaries of that easement. It's not for council to put a condition on that. So that condition can be modified to be a note.
Okay, thank you. So you're virtually saying it's, sorry, a subsequent question, you're virtually saying it's not an essential condition there?
No, it's not.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Bingham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. When my my question is going to be to the council officers. But when the applicant was speaking about item 15, so I'm going to talk about item 15 as well. So just for clarification, because quite clearly council doesn't own this carriageway, quite clearly garbage trucks are not going to go down to and go pick up the bins, so they're going to have to be brought to council land anyway. So just for clarification, if we take out item 15, the applicant still is not expecting the bins to drive up to her front yard, right? Up at the trucks.
As to officers, Mr. Zudenhout.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just to clarify, the application goes through referral to different departments, so they just raised it as an issue to say that it's a private land, exactly like you explained. And it's just for future reference. If anybody in future obtains that land, it gets sold on, then on the permit it's made quite clear for the information. It's a private road, bin collection won't take place, maintenance by council won't happen. So a note on permit is more appropriate than a condition. It's just as a precaution for any future reference that are aware of it.
Any other questions, councillors? Thank you. Thanks, Sharon. Right, now, if I can ask Drew.
Yep.
George Ellis.
Yeah.
Ah, you're Drew.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here we go. Look at that. Where's this? How good's
You're
this?
expecting a boy.
It's all working well. Sorry, I was sorry. My apologies.
That's okay. Do I go?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity to speak. I'm the landowner of 281 Camerons Road, and I'm trying to get a planning permit, which has been quite a headache and a lot harder than I anticipated. I'm 26 years old, just trying to build my dream home. It has been quite a stressful process, and it hasn't even really begun. I thought I was doing the right thing by using a town planner because he would make sure all the boxes got ticked and everything flowed a lot better. But it hasn't really helped, and it's just costing me a lot of money. It has taken 10 months so far for me to get this planning permit, and it still hasn't been approved. We have done everything you have asked of us, from bush overlays, soil testing, and many other things. I even had to advertise twice because the letters didn't get sent to the neighbours. There was one objection that was made when we first advertised, done by the neighbours behind me. The majority of the complaints had to do with the carriageway. The first one is about section 173 on the carriageway. She says that we are abusing the carriageway easement, but I had to get granted permission by the owner of the carriageway when subdivision was granted, and along with a building envelope. As for the extra traffic going up and down the carriageway, it's fine. There are adequate passing lanes on the carriageway. Also, the complainant didn't seem to mind the traffic on the carriageway when she was bringing trucks down and dumping 100 tonnes of toxic dirt.
Drew, work with me, will you? We're trying to get a permit through here. Work with the house. Let's go back to the beautiful home and the future. Yeah. And if it all works well tonight, you get a permit, you get to build a house. And we're going to have a little discussion later about how we're going to resolve some of these other issues. But let's stick to the real problem here today. Let's get this house sorted and get you on the road. How's that?
I only stated that because I'm just saying her traffic is fine, but my one car isn't fine. It's one vehicle.
Drew.
Okay.
Drew, let's work on the permit.
Okay.
Yeah. You've waited all this time. Yep. You might as well try and get it.
All right. Most of the rest of the complaints have to do with the owner of the carriageway, which has nothing to do with me, and it is clear there's just a vendetta there. But again, I don't own the carriageway, so I can't control what happens.
Drew, look at my face. Do you think I'm over the carriageway bit?
Yeah.
Just a little bit, you know.
But that's just all the...
Let's get back to the permit.
But there was nothing wrong with my permit.
Well, that's what we're trying to get to. Have you got anything to add to the permit?
Yep. As you can tell, this whole situation has made me really emotional because I feel like this complaint is a little bit silly.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I think you've got your point across. So what we're going to do is... So take a big deep breath, and there is a recommendation within the process that is a recommendation for approval. Now, I think, and I'm trying to give you some good advice here, and a gentleman once said to me, sometimes I've got to quit when we're in front. Councillor. So all I'm saying is that, look, let's stick with that, and I don't want you to be upset here. That's not what development assessment's all about. And we applaud the fact that you're a young person trying to build a home, so let's concentrate on that, and then we're going to deal with those other issues later.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you okay? Do you want a drink of water? Can I get you a drink of water?
I'm good.
Right, good on you, Drew. Let's go.
So I'm just disheartened by the whole process. The worst part is the delay that has happened with it taking so long to be approved. All my building cost has gone up 10 to 15%. And I'm afraid if it keeps going like this, I will no longer be able to build my dream home as a single woman. Thanks for listening, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Drew. All right. Councillors. Councillor Ward, please.
Question for officers, if I may. Thank you. Noting the recommendation, question probably, I guess, for Mark. Mark, in your opinion, will the proposed development have an adverse impact on adjoining properties?
The Chair, no, the proposal, given its location within the building envelope, its setbacks from boundaries, its compliance with the Rural Conservation Zone, it is an acceptable development for the lot size.
Thank you.
Any other questions, councillors, of officers, of the speakers? Thank you. You're excused. Councillors, there's a recommendation in the papers tonight. Councillor Berry, please.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'd like to move this item but take out 15. And do we have to put the condition in that the officer that it be noted on the permit?
And once it's taken out, it'll be
Thank you.
missing, yes.
Yep. So I'd like to move it.
So you're moving
removing
a second
15.
for that? Thank you, Councillor Wood. Do we have any objections? Those in favour? The permit is granted. Thank you. Right. Yes, please. And I'm just going to make a suggestion on this, that we have some issues here that need to be resolved. Could I suggest that we maybe introduce a mediator to this property? I have some real fears about the tension that's down on Cameron's Road, and I have some real concerns about there must be some middle ground here where we can resolve this issue. I don't think it's going to happen between the two parties, and I don't think it belongs in a courtroom, and I don't think it belongs here. But I think we do need to find a mediator to try and resolve this problem, and at least try and find some common ground. Otherwise, this is going to continue to fester, and that would really concern us as a council. So if you want to have a chat later about it, I'm more than happy to have a chat about it and try and maybe even make some recommendations on people that may be very good at this and try and get to some sort of resolution. I really feel for both parties here. I think it's tough, and you're putting yourselves under a lot of pressure, and I think you really need to have a break and try and find some middle ground. Because we do see a lot of it, and a lot of it's coming through, and I just feel for everybody down there on Cameron's Road. I think we really need to try and resolve it if we can. Anyhow, so thank you anyway for your patience, and I know it was difficult tonight for both parties as well. So thank you. So okay, righto, let's move on. I'm sure you're staying for the entertainment part of the meeting, but anyhow, so we'll move on to item 9.3, which is a development of a dwelling at 30 Margaret Drive in Bacchus Marsh. And we have one speaker, Tim. Well done. How are you, Tim? Yeah, better walk. If we turn the green light on and we'll see if we get things moving. Right, now we only have one speaker to this item, so the floor's yours.
Right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tim, a building designer at Quality Home Designs in Bacchus Marsh. This is my brother Damien. He's going to turn the mic off and on for me. Firstly, thanks to everyone for reading my long email and taking my calls or calling me back this week. As I mentioned in my email, I've been working on this project since early December 2021. We started out with an initial concept, and in April 2022 we kicked off the formal town planning process. By August 2022 we found out we'd also need Heritage Victoria's approval to move forward. At that point, we had a private town planners report and a rotor wash report to support our submission to council. We also brought in a heritage advisor to prepare a heritage impact statement. We lodged our submission to Heritage Victoria around March 2024. Then on March 28th, Heritage Victoria came back to us asking for changes to the plans. They didn't support the scale of the original concept and were worried about its impact on the big trees along the shared boundary with Millbank, especially the pines and peppercorn trees. They were also worried about blocking the views of Millbank from Grant Street. They then asked for an arborist report and a detailed survey of the property to map out the root and tree protection zones along with the sight lines of Millbank from Grant Street. Protecting those views and trees ended up being what shaped our building envelope. In May 2024, we met with Heritage Victoria again, and they gave us pretty clear feedback on what they would support. From there, we put together a new design that had a gable pavilion style inspired by traditional farm outbuildings. We split it into two small linked sections to reduce the bulk from the street, and the landscaping was planned to what Heritage Victoria wanted. After a bit of back and forth, they approved the new design with landscaping, and we put the plans out to public advertising in December 2024. On the 23rd of December, we got one objection from the owners of Millbank. A heritage advisor helped us put together a detailed response, which was submitted in January this year, and the objection was dismissed. Heritage Victoria gave us a permit on the 28th of February. After that, the plans went back to council for final approval, along with updates from Melbourne Water and another round of public advertising. Early on during the advertising, we noticed that the wrong plans were accidentally left up on council's website. We contacted the town planning department, and they fixed it pretty quickly by updating the plans and extending the advertising period by 2 weeks so people could see the right set of drawings. Since then, we've had 2 objections. One of them was likely because the old plans were left up, so I won't go into that one. The other was almost word for word, same as the original objection we received during the Heritage Victoria process. Most of those points have been addressed, but I'll quickly run through the non-heritage objections. One of them was the owner's intention. I really don't think this is relevant. The owner can build, live in, rent out, or sell the house however they like, as long as it meets the planning permit and building requirements. Another point they made was non-compliance with Heritage Victoria requirements. This, again, is likely because the old plans were online for a bit. The final design complies, which is why Heritage Victoria approved it. And another point they made was their concerns around the helicopter safety. This was covered in the rotor wash report. The maximum wind effect on the site was about 40 kilometres an hour, which is a strong breeze. And the noise levels are around 85 decibels, which is roughly as loud as a blender. A lot of care and thought has gone into the design to make sure it fits the site and respects Millbank next door. An arborist's report actually shows that some of the trees we're working hard to protect aren't in great shape. One of them is expected to fall at some point, and we've planned for that in our design. If you look over the site plan, you'll see we've left a big chunk of the block undeveloped to preserve the views and protect those trees. We're even using special footing system under the carport to avoid disrupting the roots. We've kept the landscaping to a minimum that includes no concrete driveway, only permeable fencing, and privacy achieved through plants, all as requested by Heritage Victoria. To their credit, our client has accepted all these restrictions, even though it's taken away a lot of the freedom you'd usually have with a custom home design. Pretty much every design choice has been directed by Town Planning or Heritage Victoria, not personal preference. There's been a lot of expert input and careful design work to get to this point. The final design really respects the heritage and history around Millbank and sits slightly on the site just as intended. Adding more conditions now would ignore all the professional advice and drag out an already long process even further. So tonight we're asking for you to support the planning recommendation and approve this application. Thanks for your time.
Questions, please. Councillor Ward.
It's probably not a question, Mr Mayor. It's more of a comment. I grew up in Margaret Drive, and I took a lot of interest in this. I lived there for 5 years, and I must have walked past Millbank many times. So I just wanted to compliment you and the applicant on the lengths you have gone to work with and amend your designs with Heritage Victoria throughout this process, and also the tree protection zone. So, Mr Mayor, it's just a comment, and I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Bingham, you had a question?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm happy to second that with a question.
With a question, yes.
Yeah. The applicants obviously made a lot of significant compromises to get to alleviate Heritage Victoria's concerns. But my question is, just in regards to the flight path, and I've asked the question of Tim over the phone, just so that the council officers say that this site is sold on, do the new applicants have some sort of right to, just like Footscray Road down in Maribyrnong, when they decided they didn't want trucks down there anymore, do they have a right to request to move this helipad or interfere anyway with this helicopter flight path? That's my question.
Even I didn't understand that.
So
can they say we don't like the helipad, move it?
Yeah, can you put it down one sentence?
I suppose through the chair, the design and development overlay, which is specific to the helicopter flight path, is based on the current position of where the pad is, and the Department of Health, who are the responsible authority, have examined they had to do a rotor wash analysis. This is a compliant development. So if it gets on sold to a new person, they'd have to build in that location. If they decide to change location or change height, then it'd be a re-referral back to the Department of Health to ensure it doesn't interfere with the helicopter.
Does that answer your question, Councillor Bingham? Thank you. Councillor Sullivan, please.
It's just a question, if I may. On condition 3, where it talks about the landscaping showing on the endorsed plan must be maintained, is there any time limit on it? Is it for evermore?
Mr Lavelle.
So through the chair, that is a standard landscaping requirement. So wherever you have a landscape plan, you ask for ongoing maintenance. So the idea is that a future owner will maintain those to the best of their ability.
Any other questions, councillors? No? Excuse, thank you, Buzz. Right. Got a recommendation in the papers?
I'll show you. We've already made this.
Oh, we've already done that, haven't we? Oh, it was the questions that threw me, I think. Must have been Councillor Bingham's question. All right, any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Thank you. My apologies. Right, let's move on to... What have we got there? 9.4. 5-lot stage subdivision, Rosenau Street in Gordon. No speakers to the item. Councillors, you've got a recommendation on the papers. Thank you, Councillor Minogue. Thank you, Councillor Sullivan as the seconder. Those in favour? So carried. Thank you. Right. How easy was that? Now, if we get an update, please, Mr Bazoon now.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just one update. Just for council's information, the battery storage energy system at Mount Edgeach at Elaine.
We should have cleared the gallery before we do the VCATs. Mr and Mrs Pope, do you want to hang around afterwards and have a chat? Or I've got to clear the gallery for the VCAT items. But did you want to hang around and have a chat afterwards? Or yeah, okay. We shouldn't be long, and then all right. If you want to get a cup of tea or coffee, you're welcome to take one with you. So. I've been instructed by Uncle Joe. Yes. Right, Mr Bazoon down. The floor is yours. You've got 3 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Mayor. I need 30 seconds. Just to inform councillors that the battery energy storage system at Elaine, the Mount Doran one, has been approved by the Minister. We've received notification of that. Officers will review the decision and the report, and then we propose to do a briefing to councillors at the next DAC briefing session.
Oh, thank you.
Obviously, council put some comments in, and obviously this has been issued with conditions. Did any of our conditions that were pro-offered feed into this, or were they just ignored?
Mr Bazoon.
As part of that, Mr Mayor, we will review the permit. Yeah. I can mention there's quite a few conditions which is ambiguous, which we don't understand, where there's reference to responsibilities placed on Moorabool, so we need to clearly understand those conditions. So I think it's important that we get opportunity to brief councillors and understand implications.
But my question is, if the people in the gallery can't be here, do we stop the recording at the same time? It just seemed a bit odd. So we did stop the recording? I'd like the...
Anyway.
Yeah, well, anyway, sorry. Thank you, Joe. Any other weekend updates? No, that's probably a good thing. Right, now let's get to general business before we get into any more trouble. Councillor Sullivan, please.
No other business, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Kerr, please. No other business. Councillor Venditti Taylor. Councillor Benari.
Other business, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Bingham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just one. My question in two parts. We had and council is aware of this, but we had a significant house fire on Baxmarsh Geelong Road not too long ago. So my question in two parts will be, has the municipal building surveyor been attended, and has a clean-up order been issued on the landowner?
Who's the two? He asked you a question of officers, yes.
Whoever wants it, Mr Mayor.
Yeah, through you, Mr Chair. The building services sits under Robert's department, so I can hand over, but just as a general comment, the municipal building surveyor do attend all of those sites, and we're required to do issue orders or directions, but I haven't got any detail on that specific one, but I'll ask if there is more information that Robert may have.
I haven't got any specific, I'll take it on notice, but yeah, our municipal building surveyor attends all fires. When he's not available, they utilise the MBS from other councils. So he's been away for the last few days, and I think we're using Wyndham as a backup. So we've always got someone, but I can take that on notice and get back to you.
Thanks, Rob. Councillor Berry.
Mr Mayor, no general business in the DAC. I did before we didn't have time out of the briefings, so I'll leave it.
Councillor Freeman.
No further business, thank you.
And Councillor Ward.
Nothing, Mr Mayor.
There we go, that's all that out of the way. So we've got now as a date for the next meeting, which is 10th of August. There we go. Thank you, Councillor. I know it's been a complicated night. There we go, 20th, sorry. I know it's been a complicated night, so thank you for working with me. So, there we go. Yes, meeting closed. Sorry, yes. Councillor Taylor.